there. We are live. Oh, good Lord. What are the chances of going through a cough? Just one moment. The second you click live, there is this urgent sort of need to cough. You know this is live if this happens. Hey, everyone. Welcome to week 69 of Supercharged Fridays. I hope everybody is well. There's a lot going on in the world today. Not a lot of pretty things. My heart goes out to the Middle East, to everybody in India. We're thinking of you, and we are here to help. If you have career-related questions, we are here for you. And when I say we, as you can see, I have a lovely guest with me today. She's a regular follower of Supercharged Fridays. G, you want to say hi?
Hello, audience. It's Gehan and I go by G for short, and I'm beyond honored to join live on the show that I've been following for several months. Big fan of yours, Sonal, and your audience is loyal and amazing. Happy to be here and support. I am a longtime HR practitioner and job seeker, recently converted to going out on my own, which in itself is a separate story, but because the job search can be discouraging and just one of those things of finding ways to think outside the box and keep positive. So
fantastic. It's great to have you. And if you guys are watching, give us a little applause for G. It helps the algorithm a little bit. It gets a little bit of rocket fuel. It helps more people find out about what's going on. We are here for you. Free session on all your pesky HR questions. The HR department sometimes doesn't make sense. We hear you. We understand that. We collectively have something like 40 years of HR experience together. So we're here for that. So you guys, we are here. Let's take it away. I already have a bunch of questions and I'm going to start addressing it. I'm sorry, I detect a bit of an echo. If you guys don't detect the echo, it's great. If you do, I honestly can't help you because I don't know what's going on. Hopefully it's not too bad. So I'm going to get started, G, and I'm going to see we have some people already joining us. Good morning, Tegan and Barbara. Very good morning. Dhaneshwari, Balram, Antonio, Vikas. How are you guys? It's great to have you here. All right. So we are all set with all HR related questions. And I have a question that came in a couple of days ago. I'm about 3 months pregnant. And if I receive an offer, should I accept it? Because I may be going on maternity leave in a couple of months after joining the new company. It's a great question. It's a very difficult situation because first of all, congratulations. Let's focus on the good news. It's something that you're viewing as a problem, but it's also you're bringing life into the world, right? Now, I would say if you're going into something, go with open, like be honest and explain it to them. And if they're okay with it, they'll have no problem. If you can work till the very end, up till 9 months, that's actually 6 months more of working. If you think you're going to be going into maternity leave in 3 months, which means you're going to be home for 3 months, please make sure you tell. Not everyone is understanding, believe it or not. So I don't know, G, if you want to add anything there.
You know, again, I agree 1,000%. It's a tricky situation because legally, I mean, there's a lot of pros and cons and good and bad. Here's my experience. And mind you, I come at this from 20 years of HR practice and recruiting. I've seen and heard all kinds of stories and narratives. The biggest thing, and it speaks to what you were just sharing, is the disclosure and just having that conversation to say, hey, what is your policy on this? Is there a workaround? I've seen situations where people have accepted an offer and been told, hey, we're going to bring you on for a while. And then while you need to be off, even though technically you haven't been here a year, we'll grant you that time. We value you to come back. I think it depends on the position. I think it depends on the need. So every situation, every company handles these things differently. But I think being first and foremost, obviously you want to be forthcoming about it. That's the important piece. So again, I think nowadays too, and so you can please agree with me or not, and we can talk about this. My experience just in having conversations over the past several months, this past year alone has changed employer perspectives on leniency and allowing people the grace and the time off that they need for situations that they may need, whether COVID related or pregnancy related or anything. Yeah. The world is a different place than say 10 years ago. So it's just worth it to have the conversation. You never want to not have that dialogue. And in the end, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't. Next.
If it doesn't work out, you're still having your baby. So let's
absolutely. It's a good thing.
It's a good thing, and focus on what's important. And to add to what G said, the answer is it depends. In French, ça dépend. So do not take at face value what we are saying, because deep down, I think you know what is the right thing to do. Do it, but do not skip the conversation. And G, I agree with you. And I also want to add, the world is a different place, yes, but it takes a crisis for true leadership to either shine or show the real scum that they have always been. So many examples of bad leadership. I don't want to focus on the negative, but this is what you will see. And they'll be like, okay, in principle, and then they'll want you to work from home till the day you are, delivering. And then so it's, if you don't have that conversation, you're the one who's going to lose out. So hopefully that helps this person. Fantastic. We have a lot more people joining in. Fantastic. Great to see you guys. You are from all parts of the world. It's great. And I see that we have more questions here. There were questions about my foot. I know. I'm sorry, Kushal. I just like because I checked everything in my hand. I don't really get it.
I don't know. Is it me? Can you hear me okay?
I hear you okay. And I hear myself echoing back. And that's not fun, but I don't want to restart the live stream in any case. And I got some questions about my foot. Thank you for asking. It's up. It's in a cast. It's going to be in a cast for 6 weeks. I'm not moving. And going live on LinkedIn is an excuse to wash my face. Let's just say that. Okay. It's the high point of my week. Okay. I am horizontal for the entire week. And if you don't have anything to do, you're just going to sit with your laptop and feel sorry for yourself. So lovely.
So may I jump in for one moment? I'd like to give you a quick shout out because I want to say something to the audience. So last week, what happened was Sonal was online a little bit ahead of schedule and had this, planned out of, hey, it can only be online and here's what's happening. And you still showed up and you had all of this personal stuff. You had your you showed up for your team, for your audience. And I want to say thank you. Thank you on behalf of your audience, because you are magnificent. We respect you. We appreciate you. And I just want to give a public shout out, a well-deserved one to you today. And thank you for having, for hosting me, but having this panel or this platform, if you will, to field these questions and to address these job topics. So I just wanted to publicly say thank you in case if we don't get to in the end. So thank you for everything. I really do hope you're doing much better.
Yeah, I'm going to be better. Thank you. It's lovely to see these messages. Please follow G. I'm trying to speak as little as possible because of the echo.
I don't know what that is. That is strange.
Please follow G.
I'm seeing, may I just shout out to a couple of people? I see some names. I mean, there's a load of people, but just even some friends that I know. We see Mumita. Mumita's in here. I see John.
It's middle of the night. Where did you see Mo? Hey Mo.
This is
your live. Awesome. It's middle of the night in New Zealand. John is here. Fantastic. Lovely to see you guys. And we're going to get cracking because we know we have people waiting with questions. And let's see. I saw a question in here. Hey, Kashish. I had my final managerial round of interviews. It went pretty well. G, can you read it out? Because I'm going to mute you.
I can. Yes, absolutely. So it says, I had my final managerial round. It went pretty well, and I'm hopeful. However, it's been a week now, and I didn't get a response from the HR. What should I do? Okay, so this is pretty easy. First of all, ask yourself and remind yourself whether or not you would how you left the interview process. Were they very transparent about it may take a while? Oh my gosh, we're going to get back with you in a day. So just do a quick recap of that. If it's been a week and they'd said they would get back with you either way, give them the nudge. And I think, Sonal, I think you've even said this before, try 3 times and then be done with it, basically. So you don't want to be stalkerish. And I'm trying to do this in your accent. I don't want to be stalkerish. And you're very delicate and very poised when you say it and very polite, but it's true. You never, ever want to stalk your HR department or recruiter. But there does reach a point when you say, if they're going to ghost you, which of course none of us want to be ghosted. And we've all been there. I actually was just ghosted last week and I put my kibosh on the situation, said no more. That's when you just say, okay, move on. That's all you can do. You can only reach out so many times. You do not know the behind the scenes. There may be a number of reasons why they don't get back with you. It has nothing to do with you necessarily. And more than likely, it's just what's going on with them. Would you agree?
Okay. Awesome. I think my job is done. I'm just going to mute myself and you can take all the questions. Kashish, listen, give them the benefit of the doubt. There's a lot going on in people's lives, not just at work. So, 3 times in 5 days. Sorry for the echo. 3 times in 5 days and move on. 3 times every 5 days. I'm sorry.
3 times every 5 days is what you're saying.
Every 5 business days.
And basically 2 weeks.
Exactly.
So after 2 weeks, be done.
And beyond that, you can assume that you're not in. They didn't have time to get back to you. Forget them. You got a bigger fish to fry, Kashish. Hopefully that helps you. All right, let's go to the next one. Hey, Vaibhav, is it okay to take up an opportunity at a level below with more money in a good brand? G, take this one.
Absolutely. If the question relates more to title, absolutely. I personally have taken lesser title positions or lesser account positions or lesser, I don't want to say lesser. I think lesser is the wrong word, but basically a perceived lower level, but for better opportunity, for longer term, better opportunity. So you absolutely, yes, there's nothing wrong with it. Some people are swayed by titles. I understand that, but bearing in mind, depending on where you're at and how titles are viewed, I'll give you a great example. Many years ago, I'm in human resources, right? So many years ago, a company contacted me about an HR director position, and the company sounded like a great opportunity. And you think HR director, 6 figures, wow, wonderful, et cetera, et cetera. Well, it turned out after, and mind you, this was several years ago, but it was more of a coordinator generalist comp level. So essentially $50,000 to $60,000 less, but it's only what the company wanted to pay. So it doesn't matter. Titles are ambiguous. I always say they're BS, which is, I hope that answers the question, but
Yeah.
absolutely yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to check if the echo is still there. Yeah, still there. Yeah. Sorry, I'm gonna go back to my original audio. Listen, Vaibhav, sometimes 2 steps back, 1 step forward, and then 1 step back and 2 steps forward. We've all done it. Nothing wrong with it. Just remember the bigger picture, and remember that this is a stepping stone. It's not like you're getting married to the company. So don't take it very sort of. And I'm going to ask one. I'm going to get to a question here, which was left on YouTube. Jiva says, once the employer provides the offer letter. Gee, I'm trying to speak as little. This is embarrassing with my microphone. Can you take it?
So I'm jinxing the process all across. I think I'm helping break LinkedIn some days. I apologize. Okay. Do you want me to take this one?
Yes, please.
So generally speaking, an employer would like a response within 48 hours. Now, there are extenuating circumstances, and depending on the situation and the offer, sometimes the candidate may have other things in play. And that's very, very fair. Depending on, again, every situation is different. So take this advice and suggestion with a grain of salt, if you will. The one thing to keep in mind is that for the most part, the employer is reaching out to you with an offer because they want you. And I guess the one thing that I will caution you of, and so I will save you the speaking part because I know that you've spoken to this before. Never, ever, ever accept a job offer at the current comp rate that's being dictated, and then come back 2 weeks later and say, I want more money. No. Do all of the legwork ahead of time. Do it up front and make sure that you're aligned and you have those conversations early on. Even if you go back through as you're in the process of accepting the offer, make sure that it's the right offer for you. But usually it's within 24 to 48 hours is respectful. But sometimes, again, it just depends on the situation.
Sounds great. Perfect. It's great when you pay attention because you're not going to forget what G just said, because she's listening and she knows this from personal experience as well, right? I'm talking about you like you're not here. All right. Fantastic. Rashmi says, I have a managerial round. I was asked, why do you want to leave your current company? Rashmi, come on. Use what's here. We can't answer this for you. Yes, you want the truth. Is there something called too much truth? Yes. You can't handle the truth. No, seriously. If you can't stand your manager's guts, are you going to say that? Come on. We're going to move on, Rashmi. G, could you read it? And I'm trying to minimize it.
Absolutely. Due to some bad time, I had resigned a very small brand, now in negotiation with some good brands, but they're exploiting me like you're a small brand. They want to hire, but like same salary, same grade. So if
you're feeling used, the word is exploited, G. The word is exploited. Exploited. You feel the main thing I'm reading is exploited. It's not perfect English. It's not a problem. But G, what do you think? When you feel exploited, when you feel something is wrong, what do?
Run.
Wrong.
Well, they want to hire, but the same salary, same. Again, I mean, every situation's different. It is an opportunity that could lend itself to better ones later on. What is your situation really allowing itself for? Now, when you use the word exploited, and again, there's different ways to say it. If you feel that you're being dummied down, and that's the one thing you should never feel. Do not take less than you feel you should be entitled to based on the role. Now, I will caution you, rates vary. I will give you a prime example. I had a conversation yesterday where there was a very specific pay range. And I'm saying this as a candidate because I am still looking at opportunities depending. And I had to bounce it back and ask the question again over and over because we weren't aligned. And they kept probing and I kept saying, so you need to make sure that before the conversation is done, have a good understanding of why they're looking to pay what they're looking and whether that will be best for you. So long answer to a short question, but again, every situation is different, but you never want to feel exploited. But at the same time, if it's a great opportunity longer term, might be worth it to possibly accept.
Yes, so 5 words, not 7 words. I'm really minimizing my speaking. If something feels wrong, it's wrong. Don't ignore those instincts. So good. Excellent, G. That was really useful. Hi, Arthra. Lost my job due to COVID. Is there any effect in the job interviews due to job loss and gap? Welcome to the club, buddy. I'm trying to be lighthearted. You're not the only one. And what do you want to add?
I was just going to say, as I was saying earlier, many companies nowadays are more forgiving on your resume, on your situation, on your showing up to a video interview, even knowing that people are not used to this. Companies are more forgiving. So absolutely, yes. So
yeah. Just be truthful.
Yeah.
Due to COVID, my job was, made redundant. My position was made redundant. It's understandable. If they don't get that in the middle of 15 months of global pandemic, please run away from them, run in the opposite direction because they're living under a rock. All right. Aman says, in the current COVID situation, G, let's say you're working today. Is it a right time to change jobs?
Again, it depends on the situation. Because we've been in this situation now for over a year, obviously, it depends. I think if you want to change and you feel that things are picking up and the opportunities are there and you're ready to make that transition, I absolutely 1,000% feel that you need to make those strides for yourself. Now, again, is it for the right reasons, the wrong reasons? Again, it depends on the situation, but the pandemic hasn't shown that there are no jobs available. There are jobs out there. Are they the right jobs for you longer term? So ask yourself why you're looking to make the change. The pandemic has nothing to do with it. I mean, I'll give you a prime example. So I was laid off, unfortunately, last year. And, in some ways, a blessing because it gives me an opportunity to move on to other things, but of course, devastating at the same time. And you're exploring yourself and learning what your options are. But it's tough and there's no right or wrong way to go about this. But going back to what we were talking about earlier, many companies are more forgiving of those gaps. So don't shy away from them. Have the conversation and be confident enough to do it. Companies will understand. Just like they will understand if you're on camera and dogs and cats and chickens are running rampant. So,
yeah, exactly. G, let's try something. So when I speak, try muting yourself. Let's see if that makes a difference. Okay. Somebody left a suggestion, which I think is a good one. Is that helping? Yeah, I don't even. Oh, hallelujah. Okay. Good. Sorry, I know that's a bit rude, but I think this is the best thing we can do given, you know what, guys, you plan, stuff happens. You plan, stuff happens. You roll with the punches, you go with the flow. We have a terrible echo. If you're one of those people complaining about the echo in 3 comments, 4 comments, focus on the right things. Delivering value here. Come on, focus on the right things. I'm done venting. Sorry, I'm done. Okay. Right. I'm going to take the next question and give G a little bit of a break because I'm like, G, take this. Oh, oh, G, you got this. Okay. Rachit says, hey, what do I do? What do I make from the situation when the company takes some time sending the email? Thank you for accepting employment with us. Rachit, can you clarify? Does that mean that you have got the job and you've got the job and you're saying the time between them saying you got the job and the time between you getting onboarded or you accepting the job? If you could just clarify, because those are 2 different things. I'm just going to move on in the interest of time, but whatever it is, follow up. People are moving around. There's a lot of mobility. If you're in a part of the world where there's a lot of stuff going on, come on, we're reading the newspaper every day. Look what's happening in the Middle East. Look what's happening in India. These are dire situations. So let's go with the assumption that recruiters have a personal life as well. Be a little bit forgiving in that sense, but don't forget to follow up, right? Give them a few days between each follow-up. I don't know, G, if you want to add anything, but I'll move on. All right, awesome. If you guys have asked something and I've missed it, because we're trying to move a little quicker, because I want to be respectful of G's time, then we're going to move on to the next question. I see. And your real compensation isn't done. Tell them you're looking forward to hearing from them and taking it further. Be specific. Looking forward to discussing the terms. Say that. Don't be shy. This is a big thing for you. And don't give that impression that many people are like shy about comp and they don't want to talk about it. Now that you know you're at the end, you have some leverage. Say, happy to discuss terms, happy to discuss the details. Get into that language because they seem to be taking you for granted. You don't want to be that person who's taken for granted. Hey, Yogita, how do you negotiate for a teaching position? You negotiate just like you negotiate with any position. Focus on, are you talking about the fact that you're not a teacher? If you don't have the skills of a teacher, focus on what you have today. Maybe you have volunteered, maybe you've worked with kids, maybe you have transferable skills. Focus on all of that. But they're 2 different things. At the end of the day, a negotiation is a negotiation. Watch my negotiation video on YouTube. 10 steps in there, a bunch of things in there that can definitely help you out. I'm racing a little bit now. G, you have a sister here. So if asked about current cost to company, and expected compensation right up front, how do you handle it? They said this is needed minimum information for proceeding further. Totally understand that, G. This is a very, very tricky thing. It depends on many factors, including where you live. Now, in some states in the United States, you're not allowed to ask this question. And yet, when they ask you, If you say this is illegal, you get a lot of advice out there, right? So apply your own common sense. If it's not illegal and you're comfortable sharing what you make today, share it. Okay. If you think that they're going to use it to your disadvantage, then you can say the following. So, based on my research, so to the second part of the question, what are your expected? Based on my research in my industry, in my function, and size of company that I have observed, in the market data out there, I have seen that the range is between X and Y. And the X should be your minimum acceptable number. Do not go lower than that. If you don't know what your minimum acceptable number is, go and watch my salary negotiation video. I ask you to calculate it. You have a certain lifestyle. Okay. I'm not saying, is this enough for me to pay my annual vacation to Monaco? No. Okay. Let's get real. So if you can share that, that's great. And they said this is the minimum. I understand that. Gee, put yourself in their shoes. They don't want to waste their time. If the budget of the position is 100 and you currently earn 180,000, come on, that's the reason they ask. However, there's good recruitment and there's bad recruitment. Bad recruitment wants to know your current salary so that they lowball you and give you a cheap ass offer. I'm gonna say it. Some people ruin it for all of us. But the reason they ask is it's almost like going to the tailor and getting yourself measured because you want the perfect jacket. If you don't get that measuring done, you just throw this jacket on you. You're like, hey, this doesn't fit. That's usually why they ask. But I understand why it's made illegal, particularly in low entry level positions, because they don't really care about how much experience you bring. They just want to be like, pay you as cheaply as possible. So longish answer, but feel free, G, if you want to add, because I know you have opinions on this as well.
Okay, can you hear me? I'm so sorry. I don't know what the echo is. This is terrible.
But
okay.
It works when we mute ourselves. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll speak. Okay, so agreed 1,000%. In fact, yesterday I was asked the same question. What am I currently making? And I said, and I basically put the recruiter in their place, and I said that's not the right question to ask. So I don't know if I'm going to get a call back from that alone. But we had a good conversation from there because they're trying to find someone for a temporary contract consulting, whatever you want to call it, role. And I was very upfront about the fact that there's only so many questions that they can ask me, because they didn't even give me the job description. They didn't give me much detail. The very first question out of their mouth was, what are you looking for? And I said, well, thank you, first of all, for the phone call, but I don't have the job description. I have no idea what this is. Instead of asking me what I'm looking for right out the gate and what I'm currently making, let's talk about the role. Again, every recruiter is going to be different, and there are ways that they should be handling it. And sometimes, unfortunately, they're not most tactful. And we go on and on about this every day, I feel. But
yeah. No, the thing is,
so
at the end of the day, if either side is focused too much on the money, it's tacky. You don't want that. You want to focus on value. What is the position? It depends on the position. I don't like to be the first one to discuss money, but I understand where they're coming from. If it's illegal, you can do what G did, put them in their place, very classy, very gently. Or you can just say, based on what my research has said, or based on what I'm being reached out for, recruiters are reaching out to me for a range which is between this and this. That's also put them in this place. But if they keep asking, if you feel comfortable sharing, I have always felt comfortable sharing, and I have always felt comfortable asking. It's tricky, G, because at the end of the day, some parts of the world, if you try to evade it, it's like she got something to hide, when the recruiter's coming from a good place. So it's very tricky. There's no right or wrong. It's a sticky little topic. But at the end of the day, just focus on what you think is right. All right. Fantastic. Kashish, I'm going to get back to you. We're drowning here with questions, but we already answered one of yours. We're going to give others a fair chance as well. What type of questions should Darshan, could you clarify? Are you talking about should you ask the MD or will the MD ask you? With regards to the MD, just prepare top 5 interview questions and answers. I have a live stream on it. Typically, those are the questions they ask, but be prepared to field some curveballs that might come your way. They want to see your presence of mind. How do you think when they ask uncomfortable questions, etc.? Just think of it as a conversation. Don't try to think of them as MD, so they are stronger than you, better than you, more powerful than you. They need you as much as you need them. Okay. Having said that, think of it as a conversation and a two-way street. I can't stress this enough because this changes the entire dynamic when you're talking to the person on the other side, whether they are a janitor or whether they're an MD. Honestly, should not make a difference. Be equally prepared. Less chance of you being interviewed by a janitor, executive assistant or an MD. How's that? All right. Okay. So, okay, let's see. G, in the meantime, if you feel like there's a burning question and you feel like you want to take it, just butt in and I will let you do that. How do you handle multiple job offers at the same time in the best way? Dhaneshwari, great problem to have. Focus, my experience, focus on position, focus on growth, focus on where you want to be. And I answered this a lot in the previous live stream, so I highly suggest you go check it out. If this position that you want to choose, let's say there are 3, right? Great problem to have. Don't forget, we're in the middle of a recession. So be grateful to it. Make sure you thank them from the bottom of your heart. You're going to be letting 1 or 2 of them down. So be prepared. There's going to be heartbreak involved. Focus on the one that is best suited for your future and your future steps. If you don't know what your future steps look like, what is that expression? If you don't know where you're going, any way will get you there. I don't remember who said that. So if you don't know, it's like, yeah, this way will get me there. That way will no, but that's not the point, right? Focus on I want to be senior partner in X number of years. Is this position going to help me get there? Focus on those type of questions. I'm sure that'll help you. And we have a coach called Risto who's watching. Risto, I know you're busy. If you're around, feel free to add something because Risto has a lot of posts related to career progression, because this is a question more about career progression. Don't think of it as a job, think of it as a career move, right? And there's so many, good Lord, G, I expected a few, but we are quite drowning. Yes, you want to add something?
Oh, no, go ahead, please.
No, add. It's okay.
Well, there was something that I just happened to catch from Ariani, I believe, Kadilia, and I apologize if I'm butchering the name again, Gehan and I. No one can pronounce it. I go by G, if I didn't clarify earlier. So this comment is, it's been 9 months since I changed, and now my previous company wants me to come back. Should I go? This is something that comes up. In fact, it even comes up when people are exiting. So can we address this really quick, especially right now because of uncertain times? So I guess the biggest question is, and this speaks to me on a personal level for a few reasons, but I think the biggest question is, ask yourself, why did you leave in the first place? And why would you want to go back? Why do they want you back? So there's a lot of dynamics there. So whether or not you should go will ultimately be up to you, but why did you leave? Think long and hard about that. And also for people who are looking to leave their current role and they resign, and I've seen this happen again as a recruiter and HR person, I've seen people come to me and say, you know what, I'm leaving. And then we try to get them to stay. Well, then right there, when you know that the person's already 1 foot out the door, that's a problem. So keep those things in mind when you're making transitions, because it's tough. And I've seen people leave companies, come back, ultimately maybe stay for a year or 2 and then leave. I mean, again, it depends on the situation, but just think long and hard, because there is something making you leave in the first place. So I'm done with that, but I just noticed that come through and I had to speak to that. So
no, that's a great question, Ariani. Just remember, if your boss was a asshead, that's not going to change. I'm exaggerating. I'm making fun. But if there was a problem there, remember that magically unicorns are not going to appear and rainbows are not going to appear. So the other thing is, on the flip side, if you had a fabulous time and there was a lovely team and you felt wonderful on Monday mornings, and if those people have moved on in these 9 months, remember the culture will not be the same, because the culture at the end of the day is not the break room, the cafeteria, the desk, it's the people. And I can't tell you how many times it's happened with clients, with people I know. They go back and they're like, it's not the place I left. It's not the same. And then, the disappointment is understandable. So at the end of the day, be cautious, go with your eyes open. I'm going to share what my personal preference is. You may completely unsubscribe to it. I feel like once you've moved on, my preference is that's a closed chapter, right? Obviously, this many people who disagree, and that's absolutely fine. I don't want to open a closed door. Just like G said, the door has already they have 1 foot out the door, and you have to have really good reasons for going back, Ariani. So hopefully that helps you. We've spent quite some time on your question. It's an important question that comes up a lot. So fantastic. Let's see. Hui. Okay, salary related. HR is asking, I don't remember if I did this already. HR is asking my last cost to company and wants to negotiate on the services I'm going to offer or problems, and I'm going to solve. Not on my last. Ankit, I think we addressed something on salary. So if you're watching us live, appreciate you being with us. Go and watch the replay because we addressed this in quite some detail. And also see my salary negotiation video that will definitely help you as well. I have to change my profile from accounts to cloud architect. Wow. How can I negotiate on the salary part and the experience in accounting? Focus on what you bring to the table, Nilanshi. Don't focus on what you don't have. Focus on what you bring to the table, including a fresh set of eyes and skill set that you have from accounting to cloud architect. You have a certain structure and discipline way of doing things. Get into that. There is no shortcut here. You've got to make, this is called mapping, skill mapping, right? Make it sounds fancy, it's actually not. Make 2 lists: skills you have today, skills you need in this job, and then check them out. There'll be some that speak the same language. One will say analytical, the other one will say problem solving. Very similar if you think about it. Tomato, tomato. Yeah, you could argue that. So you need to put in the work, and trust me, the work is going to be worth it. I saw a question there about a very rude question, and I felt, I mean, my heart went out. The question was, why have you not been promoted in the last 3 years? Did you see that, Jay? Let's see. How do you address, what have you done in your best job? What have you done best? Naveen, make a list of achievements and see that how they impacted the company's bottom line, top line, in any way, and show those, particularly where you see that you got compliments from your manager on a great job, like well done. Take advantage of that. I'm running. So running, when I say running, yeah, running on 1 foot. Yes, G, sorry.
May I say something about accomplishments? And one thing that we need to remind people of too, keep that brag book, that brag sheet. And I forget exactly what the terminology is that you use, Sonal, but it's one of those things where
I call it either a smile file or an appreciation station.
Oh, appreciation station. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Love it. Love it. Love it. That is exactly. And some people are reluctant to do it, but it is so imperative that you do, because at the end of the day, nobody is going to sing your accomplishments and speak specifically to them better than you. But if you have the backing to do it, why not? And you're going to be asked these questions with prospective employers. And it's a great way to have a little bit of a leg up to. It goes back to the strengths question. So if people were to ask you in an interview, what are your strengths? What are you good at? What have you accomplished? These are the things you need to speak to. So a little bit on the coinciding topic, but just had to interject with that. Thank you.
Perfect. Because we answered about CTC and market standard. Take advantage and watch the replay. You'll get a lot more details in there. So Jay says, I got an offer and I accepted it. Is it moral to look for a better job within the notice period? I got an offer and I accepted it, which means you've put pen to paper and you've signed. That means something, Jay. Even in today's world, that means something. Is it moral? The question isn't moral. Yes, the question is ethics for you and your reputation, because it takes years to build a reputation. It takes one, how should I say it politely, one dumb move to destroy it. So why would you look for another job unless you're not satisfied, which means maybe you accepted this job too soon? Learn from these lessons, guys. These are life lessons. We're all learning from each other, hopefully. Oh, yeah. By the way, if you are enjoying this, give us lots of likes and hearts, guys. This is, I totally forgot to say, 7 in the morning for G, sitting in Texas. She's been up for 2 hours, like an you know, super enthusiastic. I have a broken ankle. Give us some likes and hearts so that this is seen by more people and helps more people currently. And if you want to follow G's work, definitely go ahead and do that on her profile. She's got a very interesting personality and brings in facets of cultures. I think, G, you are the product of Poland and Egypt, which is explains your name. If you're going to be one of those people that reaches out and connects with G, please tell her you found her on Supercharge Fridays. Do not send a lazy blank connection request. I have said it 50 times. I feel like a mother to children who continue to do it. And my profile is set to follow. And I see people skipping that and clicking on connect. We know that the mobile app has a defect, but that is not an excuse. So I'm already warning you. G is very picky, like a lot of my guests, on who she connects with. Give her a reason why she should connect with you, and not like, hey, G, I want to learn from you. Don't. No. Focus instead. Don't make it about you. Okay. We've talked about this many times. I'm not going to go into it again. G is showing her appreciation. In case you're wondering what on earth is going on, it's not that she's lost her sense of voice. We have massive echo problems. We're muting ourselves when the other one speaks so that you guys don't have ear issues and, ear complaints. All right. Cool. Yes, that's it. That's it. That's what we're doing. Thank you for the suggestion. Anand Ram. I'm shortlisted for a company. Yay. Last 2-3 weeks been waiting for an offer. And I'm so sorry that you're waiting. This is not fun, Anantram. We talked about this earlier. Hopefully you got the answer to this. Yes, fantastic. Avinash, congratulations. I can't tell you how many comments I get in that salary negotiation video where people land offers. It makes my day. Hey, Varsha, let's see. Should you go for a brand or a good CDC? We talked about this. Fantastic question, particularly for veterans. I don't want to be naive here. We all have stages in life. There could be a stage in life where you're focused on money. Sometimes I have a very interesting podcast episode with a guy called Andrew Richards. Andrew Richards. He's in the UK. If you can check it out, I'm going to put the link in here. He says sometimes you follow the nose, sometimes you follow the money. It depends where you are. There's no right or wrong. And there were times in the beginning when he had 4 kids, he followed the money. And then money was enough. Then what? When the money is enough, you got to follow your nose. When I say follow your nose, obviously go with something that makes sense. Hey, Stefano, good morning. Good to see you in Montreal. I joined a company, Snehashish. I joined a company recently, and after that, I got an offer, which was a double salary. Yay, that's fantastic. How should I convince them that I want to go for a second offer? How will they react? I joined a company recently and got another offer. Oh, I see. Oh, again, good problem. G, what do you think?
Okay, I just had to unmute. So, okay. So go with me on this. And again, I'm speaking only from my own experience and what I've seen from other people. So if anybody out there has a differing view, my thought is this: which position speaks more loudly to? Forget the compensation. I am telling you right now, the compensation would be wonderful if it lasts for a month or two, but then it can go to the what. It can go, I've seen that happen. I've had it happen to me. And I've left jobs for higher paying opportunities. I've had all kinds of whatever. So it depends on what it is that you're looking for. Are you looking to immediately move on from wherever it is you're currently, and you have 2 pending opportunities out there? One is paying better, or is it something that the lower paying role would be a better longer term opportunity for you? I mean, it depends. I would just caution you to really think it through. It's not about the money, because the money, as my father used to say, money comes and goes. It's how you handle, the money influx and outgo, if you will. So just something to think about. But I would caution you to decide based on the opportunity and your gut. Because again, I took a job once that actually paid almost double in salary, and it ultimately, no.
Yeah. No,
so, but that's my 2 cents.
Shout out to Omar, G's dad. Beautiful advice. I I think we have to mute ourselves. When you um, when you're good at what you do, it sounds very naive, guys. It's not. When you're good at what you do and you have the right intentions, money will come. Remember that money will come. Money is the outcome. Like I said, sometimes you got to follow the money, sometimes you got to follow the nose. Focus on where you are and be practical, but at the same time, don't chase money, because right now, if you say yes to this one that pays double, what are you going to do when there's another one that pays triple? You're gonna It's not going to make you happy after a while, right? So, all right. Gonna keep moving. Govinda, should you work in an organization for a long time, for a few years for a good high, or change every few years for a good high? Good question, Govinda. Many people in IT, in tech, do this. Also, not just because of hike, but also because at some point your skills need to be up to date, and you're not able to do that in your current company. If your current company is more traditional, yes, it takes a little bit longer. But remember, we just talked about money right now. So focus on what is important to you. If you want to skip every few years and get more money, that's great. If that makes you happy, do it. Just have really good reasons when HR or your hiring manager is asking you why you left. Because if you left every single time for money, what does that say? You're going to leave them as well, right? Hi, Ujjwal. I graduated in 2018 as a mechanical engineer. I worked in different domains for 2 years, and now I want to shift to IT. Fantastic. Ujjwal, make a list of companies you want to work in. Just make it. And look at LinkedIn. You are very lucky you graduated in 2018. G and I graduated before you did, okay? My point is, there was no LinkedIn at the time. And we had to do things the old-fashioned way, which is friends of friends, friends of mom, friends of dad, telephone book. Hello, remember Yellow Pages? So when you make that list of companies, check out who are the people you know and who are the people they know, and start mapping and reach out in a good way. Follow them first. A great example is follow them first. And I want to share a little story here, which I think is fun. Very interesting. In the last 3 weeks, something has happened, G. I'm having people reach out. I've never seen this before. And they're saying, you have Fridays every day, every week at the same time. We'd love to be featured here. What do we need to do to come on your show? Now, they don't know me. I don't know them, right? So this is called cold outreach. Should you do it? Okay. The chance of hearing back or the chance of getting a yes, slim, right? Then there are people like G, and I want to share this. G and I have been interacting. She's been leaving not comments like good post, great job, thank you for sharing. She's been leaving thought-provoking comments. I can see them live, or I see them on a video or a post. I reached out last week to G. Hey, you want to come on this thing that I do every Friday? She's like, of course, I know what you do. I've been following you for ages, almost a year, and I'll be happy to come. I want you to be this person that's like honey, where bees are coming towards you. If I had a company and I had a position, I would have already offered G a job. So the point is, G's getting now, remember what she said. She's been laid off. She's been in your shoes. She's been laid off thanks to COVID. And she's in the process of like, should I work? Should I start my own company? She's figuring that out. The point is, she's getting invited left, right, and center to different live streams with interesting people. Network has been broadened. Why? Follow these people, guys. Follow these people. Don't be the lazy person who just reaches out and does the cold outreach. Am I saying there's anything wrong with it? It's not. It's just, how many of these are you going to send before you get a yes? Whereas the strategy I'm sharing with you takes a few months, few weeks, few months. Yeah, it depends. And it works. It works. So yeah, I'm done. I'm speaking like I'm in Clubhouse. I'm done speaking. And we're going to move on to the next one. And in case you're wondering, yeah, Lee's muted herself because we're trying to conserve the echo effect. We're moving on to the next one. How do you handle employment gap in your resume? Crick, I'm a big fan of honesty. So you can just say it's because of COVID. And you can talk about what you've been doing in this time. I wouldn't leave it. I wouldn't skip it. Many people will give you advice, and I personally think it's bad advice. The first advice is show that you're still like, for example, if you worked there from 2018 onwards and you lost your job last month, people will say, Write 2018 till date. That's misleading. It's false pretenses. You're showing that you still work there. Please don't do that, right? Be honest and say you lost your job thanks to COVID, and then write about what you've been doing in the meantime. I don't know. It's understandable. I'm going to let you unmute. I'm just seeing, does this make sense? How to talk about intermittent gaps in an interview? Same thing. Same advice that I just shared earlier. Yes, G.
I wanted to say, and I hope I'm coming through okay audibly. So I wanted to acknowledge a comment. It wasn't really a question, but it says, I got an interview and I messed up so bad. This came through from Katricha. I apologize again for the name mispronunciation. I got an interview and I messed up so bad. I feel disappointed because I was so nervous. Okay, so you feel badly. The interview, ask yourself, was it your first? What was the environment? And what made you mess up? Was it just that you felt that the questions were maybe not even the right questions they should have been asking you? Maybe it wasn't anything to do with you. And how do you know you messed up? Maybe they'll follow up with you. So don't be too hard on yourself. All of these interviews, especially if they're virtual and on camera, there's so many different variables that go into it. And so my only suggestion is to not be so hard up on yourself. Like, you will get better as you progress with interviews. I don't know what level or stage, if you will, that you are at this time with interviews, but they'll get better as you go along. So just wanted to put that out there, that it's not necessarily just about you, and you never know how you were perceived. You may have thought that you messed up, and I've seen it happen before. I've had candidates come back to me when I extended an opportunity to them as an HR recruiter, if you will, and the candidates would come back and say, oh my gosh, I'm so surprised and I'm so excited. I had no idea. I said, you were great. You never know. So don't be too hard on yourself is my point.
Excellent. Perfect. Well said. And, that's exactly what the answer is to a question that I saw a little bit earlier. Reach out, just listen to what G said right now. It feels like things have broken you down. It could be worse. Focus on what you can control. Hey, Adam, thank you so much for being so forgiving about the silly little echo that's going on. Guys, we're going to stay live till the top of the hour, which is 8 more minutes. And I see we have a lot more questions, and we're not going to be able to take all of them simply because, an hour, I think, is a lot. So you need to come early next time. Be on early. And if you're thinking about getting more, professional help, think about joining my coaching club, which is a group of membership coaching. We get together 2 times a month, and we have structured way of doing things. And I'm going to be able to help you a lot more there, as opposed to, sort of a public live broadcast. I see some people are reaching out to each other to help. Fantastic, Risto. I knew you'd be there for her. Hey, Kevin, so good to see you. Your comment is drowning here in the other comments. It's lovely to see you here. Fantastic. So let's see where, can I ask my company? I think that Dilip asked this a little bit. I think he asked me yesterday. Can I ask a buyout from my new company, as I already accepted the offer? Is that good or bad? So not very, 1 second. Can I ask buyout? You want them to buy you out, because in the new company, you've already accepted the offer. Then you can't ask the new company to do the buyout, right? That would be like going back on your word. So I think I just answered you. If you've already accepted the offer and you want suddenly something else, I think if you want, give it a shot. You haven't yet joined them, but ideally this should have happened before pen meets paper, please, because they might look at you as somebody who's a little bit of a troublemaker, because you already said you're going to start, and then, and I've received this question earlier. All right. So I'm bored of this job that I'm doing today. Yeah, Lee, go ahead.
Well, did you want to address this one? Then I found one here that I wanted to talk to briefly. So please, you go first.
Which one?
You go first.
I'm bored and I'm interested. Listen, life's too short to be bored, Sushil. So I'm just going to make it very, very quick for you. Start looking elsewhere. Be open to recruiters calling you. We spend a lot more time at work than we do in our personal life, right? At the end of the day. So if you're not going to be happy, what's the point? So that's a quick piece of feedback there. Which one is it that you were thinking of, G?
This is interesting. How to handle exit interviews, what not to say, what to say. From Yvonne Arnab Gomez.
Do you know if it's YouTube or LinkedIn?
LinkedIn. So do you want me to speak briefly?
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll find it. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm just scrolling back up really quickly. But with regard to exit interviews, again, exit interviews, keeping in mind that every company is different with how they address them. So a lot of times companies will conduct exit interviews, insist on them. Sometimes people, the exiting employee, if you will want to give answers to questions. Sometimes they don't. My thought is, if you want to say something and be diplomatic about it, absolutely you should. If you, depending on the relationship that you have, if you think you'll ever, how do I say this? You never want to burn a bridge. You never want to come out, all guns blazing and saying this was the worst environment and boom, boom, boom. But if there's a tactful way to address the concerns that you have, you should absolutely address them and just say, yes, I'm leaving for a better opportunity. I'm leaving for more money. I'm leaving because I haven't had a performance review in 3 years. I'm leaving for XYZ. The more specifics you can give versus a rant, I think it'll be better received and it'll be feedback that'll go a longer way. But again, every company handles them differently. So, but I know that's sometimes tricky. So.
That's very good. Very well said. I was one of those people that took exit interviews, and let's not be naive here. I was one of those HR people, and I would listen, and the manager would want to know, and the manager's manager would want to know. So if you're going to share something with HR in the exit interview, be comfortable that it's going to be shared with your manager as well. If you're not, don't say it, right? If there was serious harassment, then it's really sad. It should have come up way before, right? But maybe they were horrible with you, and then, yes, sure, you share it. But then you're on your way out, right? So remember that if you do that, you're burning that bridge, you're not going back. So be clear on it. Burning bridges very rarely helps anyone. I'm not saying it doesn't help you because you may not go back. It's not that. Just remember, people talk, bad experiences. If you're really, really convinced it was a god-awful place and you're sure you're not going back, then fine. But just remember, it has repercussions, right? No such thing as a free lunch. Hey, Kevin. Fabulous. So how many years do you work in a company if they don't promote you? Sandeep can't say that, right? At the end of the day, if you feel you deserve a promotion, let's say a position came up and you got sidetracked, not sidetracked, you got overlooked, right? There has to be a really good reason for it. If it happens again and again, I wouldn't look so much outside. I would look within and figure out why is it that it's not coming for you. And I saw a very similar question in another place where somebody said, how do you answer the question about what is my leadership style? Some of these things you've got to look within and see what is it that's important to you. And if you feel you're ready for a next step in your career, you're ready for having people report to you, but it's not coming, ask for feedback. Don't operate on a little island. You're not alone. And there's no, I've been promoted within a year in a new company. So am I smarter than you? No. I mean, there's a way of doing things. There's perception management involved. If you're doing great work, remember that appreciation station. It's locked away somewhere beautifully and strategically comes out. Parts of it come out every time there's a need. And you don't have to be uncomfortable and like, I don't like blowing my own trumpet. Don't call it that. Reframe it and see how this can help you and your career. All right. I know that we already skipped on a few questions. So this hopefully addresses you as well. I think this is a similar question. What action can a company take if I resign within the first month of joining? Put yourself in their shoes. Sheesh. Put yourself in their shoes. You start a company and somebody leaves. Empathy here, guys. Come on. They spent ages finding you. I don't know about what action they will take. I just feel bad for them because they spent all this time looking for you. You'll get no BS advice from us and no coddling and telling you you're right and they are wrong. No. We've been on both sides. We've lost our jobs, both of us. We've been in HR, both of us. We've seen the good, the bad, the ugly. So you're getting full truth here. I resigned from my current company, and the multinational company is asking me to pay 1 month's salary as I opted for a buyout. I get it. Yeah, I think we answered this one already. And I'm trying to see other questions which have not been asked before by the same person. My employer moved me to another country, Varun says, and now for the last 2 years, they've cut my bonus and given me zero hike. I feel this is unfair. You got to talk to them about it, particularly if you feel the cost of living is difficult, right? In the country that you live in, maybe you're sending money home to your parents or your family, right? Bring it up. If it's happening across the board to everyone, then maybe times are hard, right? Be open to that. And I've been in companies where there was zero hike for 2 years. Yes, I have seen that happen. It's not a given. It's not a given. You want to add something?
Actually, I saw a question really quick because I know we're running low on time, but this is interesting. Nagendra Kajapali, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, chimed in a few minutes ago on LinkedIn.
Tell me, is that
says,
YouTube,
LinkedIn is a great
YouTube or
platform.
LinkedIn, G? Is that YouTube?
I'm sorry?
Is that YouTube or LinkedIn?
It's LinkedIn. So Nagendra chimed in on LinkedIn a few minutes ago. Great platform, but HR who posts for job opening doesn't reply to messages after connecting. Even if we are just trying to communicate that we've applied for the position, could you please let us know? Because networking is great, but few connections. But if someone isn't responding to messages, what's the next step? Okay. So no, this is a big one because a lot of times in the messaging consistently is that when you reach out to HR, recruiters, people on LinkedIn specific to a role, with DMs, 9 times out of 10, they may get overlooked. I've seen it, and again, there's a different way to connect with them. It's not just through sending them an email or a message to say I'm interested in the role. And that's not necessarily networking. Conversely, I've also had it happen where recruiters, and this is encouragement for job seekers, please do yourselves a favor, because here's another thing about connecting. And I've experienced this even in the past couple of weeks. I've had recruiters reach out to me, send me generic invites, which again, folks, always personalize, right? So recruiters have reached out to me as I'm still somewhat looking for opportunities and client work, all that great stuff. I've had people reach out to me with the intention, I'm sure, of wanting to connect job related, but there's no message to it. So I'm thinking, what am I going to do with this? And many times recruiters will reach out. Don't automatically connect back with them. Don't feel forced to connect with anybody that you don't want to connect with. And I only say that because, again, that's not networking. The problem with a lot of these direct messages, and so now please chime in, and I know we're echoing and such, but the problem is recruiters and HR are so inundated with them that a lot of times that's not networking. That's just letting them know. So try a back channel, try engaging in their comments or in their posts, send them through emails, have a different line of communication than just sending them the messaging. So just something to think about. And again, if you keep reaching out to them for a very specific position and they're ghosting you, do exactly as has been said multiple times. Try 3 times over a period of 2 weeks or so, and then let it go. Just let it go and assume that it will be what it will be in the end. So I just wanted to address that because that comes up quite a bit with communication and connecting.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And I think, Nagendra, the other thing to keep in mind is, I don't want to scare you, but there's something called scams. Okay. LinkedIn is full of them right now. And we cannot play victim. We cannot play that innocent Barbie doll with eyes huge and like, I didn't know about this. It's your job to do your homework. I see these kind of posts. I have this open position. If you're interested, please comment below. People are writing lazily. Interested, please DM me. Interested, don't be one of those people, right? That's not how good recruiters work. What they're doing is they're building a data bank of contacts, and then I don't know what they're going to do with it. They might use it to spam you, right? Real good recruiters are proactively looking for the right people. Now, if you think this is a good recruiter, just like G said, and like I've been saying for years, reach out to them saying, it was great to connect with you. Do it once every 5 business days and do it 3 times total. After that, leave it. They're not your people, right? And I'm taking this as a last question. Anurag, hey, you're talking about notice period. They get scared off when they see that you have a 3-month notice period. Dude, welcome to Europe. In Europe, it's very normal to have 13-week notice period. This is what you signed when you start the company. And if a company cannot understand that you have a notice period, it means they're telling you to cheat and say, I want to negotiate. Yeah, sure, you can negotiate. If your current company thinks you've already got one foot out the door. Personally, for me, when I was in HR, I was very happy to see people go a little bit earlier, because I feel like when somebody's already checked out mentally, it's not very healthy for the company to retain that person, right? Obviously, you have tasks, you have things to do, you have a handover to a new person. If that new person's already on board, it makes life a little easier. But if they don't have a new person on board, then you owe the company, yes, I use strong words here, you owe them the full notice period, and do the due, everything that you're supposed to do before you move on to the next one. And remember, the new company is watching you. So if you're going to be doing any weird stuff, there's people in there who might think that you might do the same thing to them when they're, when it comes to when it's their turn. So do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. I think this is in every religion and every practice. Oh boy, there's a lot more questions in here, guys. We've been live for over an hour. It's 7 in the morning where G was, where we started, and there's so much more where this came from. So I want to say, definitely find G on LinkedIn. She's amazing, spreading a lot of positivity, no BS. She's got through her own sort of, struggles of last year and is getting through it just like a lot of us are. Connect with her. No lazy connection request. Make it highly personalized and customized. And if you still want more help, it's been an hour. We've got stuff to do. I have a broken leg to nurse. And if you think about getting more help, think about joining the club. It's the price of a Netflix subscription. And I'm there every Tuesday, every second Tuesday. I have a group of people and we go through all the stuff together. So if you're thinking about it, this would be a great place to do it. And yeah, thanks everybody for joining us and bringing all your questions. It's not the same without an active audience, right? So really, really appreciate it. And a huge thanks to G for helping out so graciously with your time.
My pleasure. I'm only sorry about the echo. I have no clue what's going on audibly, but I'm so excited, and the feedback's been phenomenal. So, like, we're having fun. We're wrapping up another crazy, amazing, quirky week in many respects, but we're all on a journey. We've all got our stuff going on, but to have this opportunity to connect with you every Friday morning, my time, of course, late in the day for you, but it's a blessing and we appreciate you. And please take care of you and stay healthy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I want to say, guys, appreciate you being here. If this has been helpful for you, I'd like you to do something. Go and help 3 friends of yours who are struggling right now. Pass it, like, what is it called? Pay it forward, right? The world's going through some crazy stuff. Don't have to spell the obvious. You've learned something today, pay it forward to 3 friends of yours, right? And reach out to somebody who you think might be struggling. You're not alone. You've got to reach out and ask for help. This is what we're here for. This is what we've been doing for the last hour. And don't just wait for your friend who you know is struggling. Go and reach out in advance and definitely let them know about the live stream today. So many good questions. Take care, everyone. See you same time next Friday. Oh, how could I forget to mention, next Friday, we have 2 very cool things happening. And I want you to remember that. Same time next Friday, Kevin D. Turner, who was on my live stream back in October, I don't know if Kevin's still watching, is going to be back because LinkedIn has been through some changes between October and now. And Kevin is going to walk us through it. He is one of the many LinkedIn nerds I absolutely love. Yes, I called him a nerd. I love nerds because they are in it, serious, no fluff, no spam, full value. And that's what I wanted to say about next week. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And G, stick around. I'm just going to stop the live stream. Bye, everyone. Take care of yourselves.